Saving money feels like the right thing to do. It feels responsible. It feels disciplined. It feels like progress. And in many ways, it is. But there's a point where saving, by itself, stops being enough. And most people don't realize when they've reached that point, because they've been told for so long that saving is the answer. Spend less. Put money aside. Build your savings. And again, none of that is wrong. But it's incomplete. Because saving protects your money, it doesn't grow it. And that difference is what keeps people stuck. Imagine someone who works hard, earns consistently, and saves a portion of every paycheck. Over time, they build a decent amount of money sitting in an account. That feels like progress. And it is, compared to spending everything. But then something happens. Time passes. Inflation increases. The cost of living rises. And the money they worked so hard to save doesn't move. It stays the same. So even though the number hasn't changed, what it can actually do for them starts to shrink. And that's the part most people don't think about, because money that isn't growing is slowly losing power, not dramatically overnight, but consistently over time. And consistency is what creates real impact. Now compare that to someone who still saves, but doesn't stop there. They take a portion of what they save and begin directing it. They begin putting it into things that have the potential to grow. Not recklessly, not all at once, but consistently. And this is where the real shift begins. Because now, money isn't just sitting, it's working. Even if the growth is small at first, even if it feels slow, it's moving. And movement creates momentum. Now here's where it gets interesting. Let's look at 3 different people, all earning similar incomes, all trying to do the right thing with money. The first person spends everything they make. No saving, no investing, just maintaining. Their situation is obvious. There's no progress, no cushion, no growth. Now the second person saves consistently. They build a safety net. They feel more secure. They've done something most people struggle to do, but they stop there. Their money sits. It doesn't multiply. It doesn't grow at a meaningful rate. It just exists. And over time, they realize something uncomfortable. They're safer than before, but not freer. Because their future still depends almost entirely on their ability to keep earning. Now look at the third person. They save first. They build that same safety net. But then they take the next step. They start converting savings into assets. Again, not aggressively, not perfectly, but consistently. And over time, those assets begin to produce. At first, it's small, almost unnoticeable, but it's there. And it grows. Slowly, then steadily, then more noticeably. And eventually, it reaches a point where it starts contributing in a real way. Now, all 3 people started in similar positions, but their outcomes become completely different. Not because of income, but because of what they did after saving. That's the missing step. Saving is the foundation, but it's not the structure. You can't build long-term wealth on saving alone, because saving doesn't scale. There's a limit to how much you can save, but there's no fixed limit to how much something can grow. And that's where the real opportunity is. Now, this is where people get stuck again, because moving from saving to investing feels uncomfortable. It feels uncertain. Saving feels safe. You can see your money. You know it's there. Investing introduces movement, and movement introduces risk. But avoiding all risk has its own cost. It guarantees that your money won't grow. And over time, that becomes a different kind of loss. A slower one, a quieter one, but still a loss. because you're trading long-term growth for short-term comfort. And comfort, while it feels good now, doesn't always serve you later. The key isn't to take reckless risks. It's to understand controlled growth, to move gradually, to learn as you go, to build confidence through consistency. Because the goal isn't to get rich quickly, it's to build something that grows reliably over time. And that requires participation, not just protection. This is where your financial life starts to change direction. Because now, instead of just storing money, you're deploying it. You're putting it in positions where it has the ability to increase, where it can begin contributing back to you. And that contribution, even when it's small, changes your relationship with money. Because now, it's not just something you earn. It's something that can work. And that shift is powerful because it reduces your dependence on effort alone. It creates another layer of progress, another source of movement, another way forward. And over time, those layers build on each other. That's when momentum starts. And momentum is what most people never reach because they stop too early. They save. They feel good about it. And then they stay there, never taking the next step, never allowing their money to grow beyond what they personally put into it. And that keeps them in a position where effort is always required, where progress is always manual, where stopping means everything pauses. But once you move beyond that, once you start building growth into your system, things begin to change. Not instantly, but inevitably. Because now, time is working with you, not just passing by. Your money is moving forward, even when you're not actively thinking about it every day. And that creates something most people are actually chasing. Not just more money, but less pressure, less dependence, more flexibility, more control. Because the ultimate goal isn't just to have money sitting somewhere. It's to have money that's doing something. Something that contributes to your future. Something that reduces the amount of effort required from you over time. Something that builds, quietly, consistently, without needing constant attention. And once you understand that clearly, saving stops being the end goal. It becomes the starting point, the first step, not the final one. And that's the difference between people who feel stuck and people who eventually break out. Because one group stops at safety, and the other builds toward freedom. And if you're serious about making that shift, about going beyond saving and actually building wealth step by step, subscribe to Smart Money Compounds, because this series is designed to help you understand exactly how to do that the right way.